Welcome to the Problematic Gazette with me, Dr. Lee Arnott.
And me, Dave Moore.
And here it's our little chance for your two favourite puffs of a certain age to chew the cud and bring up any issues we've been facing this week and just talk general chit-chat for a little bit of extra fun and frolics for your inbox. Matron, how are you, David?
I'm really good. Fighting fit. You know what? I've been off the booze this week.
How's that gone?
Surprisingly, if you don't drink, you have much more energy. You get much more done during the day. It's astonishing. We've talked about it before, how it's taken this long to understand that no alcohol leads to healthy living.
Sorry, it's just not computing at all, I'm afraid, because I've had the opposite this week because I've been in Portugal for a staff wedding, darling, because Shirley from Creative got hitched up a mountain in a very lovely, lovely setting. It was really lovely, but my God, it was full on. And after 5 days, I was exhausted. I was so pleased to get back to my own bed. Really got to that age, love.
Oh, darling, did you burn the candle at both ends?
I burnt the candle at both ends, kicked the shit out of it. It was just relentless. It was great fun, but too many late nights, not enough hours sleep at all. A lot of drinking was done. A lot of heartburn tablets were consumed. Of course, I was the flower girl. And I think I pulled the job off with some aplomb, if I say so myself.
Very nice. Well, congratulations to Shirley from Creative. Now, I do remember when we went to Madrid that time to surprise my sister for her 40th. And we all went out, had a wonderful time. And I went back to the hotel and said to you, remember, we've got to get the flight in the morning. And you said, I'll be fine. And then I had to knock on your door 10 minutes before we were due to depart. And what greeted me when you opened the door? And I said, we've got to go in 10 minutes, and you weren't looking your best, darling.
Do you know what? There's a picture your husband has of me on his phone taken that morning, and I think it is the worst picture I have ever seen of me. You know that 28 Years Later came out earlier this year, that zombie film, and there was a famous image of a zombie that everybody thought was Cillian Murphy. I looked like that. I looked a cross between that and Dot Cotton. It was horrific. Oh my God. It was a bit like that, yes. But of course, obviously, because Shirley's now married, that means we do have to give her a P45 because she's now the property of her husband and is no longer allowed to work, as it should be, darling. Feminism, pah! Of course, we are joking. We are a progressive company. She'll be relegated to the third floor now, secretarial from this point on.
Do remember, we can't cross Shirley because we almost didn't invite her to the Independent Podcast Awards, and it kicked off, didn't it?
It did. Yes, it did. It did. I jest, of course, about Shirley's role in the company.
But she will be accompanying us to the Independent Podcast Awards, which is on October the 15th. So in our next episode, we will be practicing our surprise faces and also our disappointed faces.
Yes. And hopefully our jubilant, smug faces. Was that just me?
I don't know about you, but I'm trying not to get too excited. This must be what Oscar nominees feel like. You know, you can't get too excited because then there's a long way to fall if you do.
Absolutely. I'm exactly the same. If it happens, it's very nice. If it doesn't, it's fine. We've been nominated. It's going to be a lovely evening, the first of many, hopefully. That's all we can do, darling. And obviously I'm casting voodoo spells and doing human sacrifices as we speak. So, you know, there's a lot of dead chickens in the garden, but let's just not go there.
Well done, darling.
Thank you. Whatever it takes, love, whatever it takes. You've been a busy boy this week, haven't you? Podcast-wise.
Yes, I've been really busy editing a podcast that's going out on Tuesday. It's the Avengers podcast, and Michael and Hilary Whitehall came to PG Manor to chat all things Avengers and tell us a few lovely anecdotes about their journey in the showbiz world. Michael, of course, was Patrick Whitney's agent. Patrick Whitney, who stars as Steed in the Avengers. So really looking forward to that one dropping on Tuesday.
Very exciting. And speaking of our last episode on The Office, we have had a message from Ruth on Instagram. Ruth is one of our original gazers, and we have to apologise, Ruth, because we've been a bit slack Alice replying back to you, love. But she still thinks The Office stands up as a masterclass of farce and surrealism and is rendered breathless with the social embarrassment of it all. She asks if she's the only person who's not seen the US version. I've not seen it. Have you seen it, darling? darling?
No, I haven't. My good friends Marie
Okay,
and Nick are absolutely obsessed with The Office America.
So that's three of us who haven't seen it, Ruth. Keep up the good and important work. She thinks we're all the better for being independent, but if a sponsor does swoop us up, don't change a thing. Of course we won't. We will just be in Dolce & Gabbana outfits, Ruth. That's all. That'll be the only difference. But dear listeners and viewers, won't be able to. It won't change us at all, Ruth. I promise you. Where's the champagne? I have to say, regarding our Cagney and Lacey episode, which seems to have gone down very well on the socials, it has been a joy to pull off little snippets for the social media accounts for these. And watching their appearance on Graham Norton on 2007, I was just struck by how much of a great relationship they still had. And it was really heartwarming to see that they clearly adore each other. It was just great. And I watched 2 episodes on the plane from Portugal, and I'm just in love with Cagney and Lacey at the minute. I really am. I can't stop singing the theme music wherever I'm out and about, pretending myself on the streets of New York. So I love it.
Fabulous. Yes, you've been posting some humdingers on Instagram and TikTok, haven't you? So please join our Instagram and TikTok community at Podcast Gaze, or just type in the Problematic Gaze and we'll spring up. So yes, please do join us. I've had a little message on email.
What is it?
It's from Frank, and he says, "Good morning, Dave. Just a brief note to say I love the podcast. Made the trip back from the dentist surgery to North London go super quickly. Looking forward to more looks at embarrassing TV culture from the past." So now Frank is my dentist. So he has got a vested interest in this podcast going well and us starting to rake in the cash, because the amount of work he wants to do on my mouth could send him on a world cruise for a year. The amount of money that I would have to pay him. And I've said to him, you know, when I make my first million, you've got carte blanche to do anything you want with my mouth. So he's busy promoting our podcast as well at his end.
Bless him. Thank you, Dr. Frank. But if you don't mention Dear Dave and Lee in the future, I won't be happy, Frank. So think on. It's not just about Dave, you know, just because he's your client. I want my teeth done as well, kid.
Okay, I think we should move on. Bless you, Frank. I used to be really frightened of the dentist when I was a kid because, you know, there were butchers back in the day, weren't they? But since I've been going to see Frank, it's put my mind at ease, and I actually don't dread the dentist like I used to do when I was a kid. Anyway, let's move on from dentistry in general.
Good. It's been a dramatic week in my hometown of Morpeth in Northumberland, let me tell you. I get a message from my mum on Wednesday. Bear in mind, nothing ever happens in Morpeth. It's a population of about 14,000, famous for a train crash in 1987. And nothing happens. Mum texts me to say that street's cordoned off. There's a bomb disposal unit going in there. There are forensic detectives all over the place. It was like, oh my God, nothing on Twitter. Couldn't find anything that was going on at all. Then the local newspaper clicks in. This is the Evening Chronicle. Then BBC News runs the story. ITV News runs the story. It made me chuckle because everybody who's interviewed in the morning says, I don't know anything about what's happened or what's going on. Every single person they interview, but everybody runs. Amanda is quoted many times saying, I don't know what's happening. Nothing's said, nothing's been said. My mother messaged me to say that her and her sister had gone to try and probe the detective in charge, but she came back empty-handed. She referred to herself as Shirley Holmes and Miss Lost Her Marbles, as in, I thought was very funny for me, ma'am. But please, the quote of the situation, this is resident Amanda Gibson on the situation. She was relocated to the local leisure centre with Twix, the guinea pig she's been caring for. Amanda said she was told to take Twix as it was uncertain how long she'd have to be out of her home. However, she and Twix were able to return home at around 2:30 p.m. So, I mean, all we were thinking was pray for Twix. Hashtag pray for Twix that morning. But finally, Twix is okay. And it transpires that, because it wasn't like a World War II bomb or something, it transpires that earlier in the year, they tried to blow up an ATM to get the money out. Hadn't worked, but this was where the bombs were being made. Round the corner from you, ma'ams, in Morpeth. I tell you.
It's a hotbed of crime up there in the northeast in Northumberland. It reminds me of a time when I was a little kid. My dad was digging in the back garden and all of a sudden heard a clunk, unearthed it. There was a hand grenade. Had to call the bomb squad out.
Really? Gosh. Wow.
Yeah, World War II hand grenade.
Gosh. Because that's what you think immediately, isn't it? When you hear unexploded bombs, you think World War II. But I knew there wasn't any work going on. Then you start to think horrible things like, oh, God, is it the far right? Something. But thankfully, it's just ATM. But the most important thing, Dave, is that Twix, the guinea pig, is okay. Now, you've just said it all go in my hometown of Morpeth. I will point out that just after you'd moved into your little village, there was a murder, which segues beautifully, I think, what I've been watching on TV, which is the joyous return of Only Murders in the Building. See what I did there?
That was a beautiful segue. Well done. Well done.
Thank you. You're still catching up, aren't you?
Yes, we're late to the Only Murders in the Building party in our house. So we're only halfway through season 3. But I have to say, what an absolute find it is. What an absolute joy. I just love all the 3 characters, but in particular, Martin Short. He just makes me chuckle all the time. He's just great. His mannerisms, Steve Martin's brilliant as well, and Selena Gomez, but it's Martin Short who does it for me. Yeah, but we absolutely love it. It's just so gentle and fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's a bit abstract. It goes off on different tangents and stuff. But I mean, the supporting cast they get as well is just marvelous. There's obviously a lot of love for it in the acting community, and everybody's scrambling to be a part of it.
Have you come across Martin's girlfriend yet?
Meryl Streep.
Yes, I didn't want to spoil the Meryl Streep. Yes, I mean, Meryl Streep. Hello.
And Paul Rudd. Everybody's in it. It's great. It's wonderful. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely love it. We're up to date. So we are now in the painful process of waiting for each episode to drop a week, old school, which I quite like actually, because it makes it a really special thing, doesn't it? But I just love it. Renee Zellweger is about to appear in this new season, so I'm quite excited about that. So, friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod. Please refer back to our Bridget Jones episode, which we absolutely loved, didn't we? Speaking of having to wait for the next episode to drop, I remember you got me into Game of Thrones, and it was obviously quite a few years into Game of Thrones starting. So I started from episode 1, season 1, and I just got to revel and luxuriate in all these beautiful, violent stories unfolding. Didn't know anything about it, so didn't know who was going to die next. And then when I caught up to everybody else, I just felt like, I felt like a real commoner. It was like, I have to wait, the same as all the plebs have to wait for it. And it was devastating.
Did you catch up just as it was getting a bit shit as well?
No, there's a lot of discussion about Game of Thrones, isn't there, about if it went shit and stuff. A lot of discourse, but you're never going to please everybody. I was a little bit disappointed with Daenerys Targaryen's fate at the end. But in general, I mean, I loved it right till the end, really. Anyway, I could talk about Game of Thrones for hours and hours.
Because we've got our finger on the cultural pulse so much, haven't we?
Yeah, I did. House of the Dragon, I just fizzled out on that. I'm just like, this is just a little bit, compared to Game of Thrones, it was just a little bit turgid and dull for me.
Yes, it's just people standing in rooms talking. But let's not talk about Thrones anymore, because there's lots of people that probably listen to our podcast who are not part of the crossover of the Thrones universe. So, crashing on.
Crashing on, can I just say one thing, that if I want to bring us bang up to date, I've just watched the final episode of Alien Earth, which is on Disney. If people haven't heard of it at all, it's kind of like a TV program based on the Alien films and the scenario of what happens when aliens crash land on Earth. And I have to say, it's one of the best things. Brilliantly written, original ideas, and really well filmed as well. And I've come to the end of that, and it ends on a real cliffhanger as well. So I think it's well worth the watch, gazers, if you're into sci-fi and aliens and all that kind of shizzle. Please give it a watch.
Well, I am into that kind of shizzle, so I'll definitely be watching. I will report back when I have done so. Well, I've got no other business, darling, have you?
No other business other than to say our next episode is on The Avengers from 1966, starring Patrick Macnee and Diana Rigg. And as we said before, we've got our special guests, Michael and Hilary Whitehall, in the house.
In the house. Yeah, absolutely look forward to that. It was a riot to record with them. There was so much fun, and we were so grateful to have them on board. But that drops on Tuesday, and I'm sure we'll be back with some more musings and devastating bombos next week as well. So until then, our Dave, au reservoir.
Can you post a picture of Twix?
Twix does not have any media profile at all, unfortunately.
Okay, then. In that case, au reservoir.